Welcome back to another edition of the Interlake Sports Now. This week we have an absolutely action-packed show. A lot of sports going on in the Valley and surrounding areas. Northwest Montana sports is popping right now. We're going to highlight our prep players of the week as usual, talk a little Cat Grizz hoops. And as far as Grizzlies football go, we did have National Signing Day recently. If you've got that itch for some Grizz football, Britt's neighbor and I just dropped a little video on YouTube, from Daily Interlake YouTube channel, Sports Now special. Grizz offseason, we're talking some recruiting. We talked a little bit about the Grizzlies coaching vacancies on the defensive coordinator position, and got some audio on there from Coach Hauk on just some recruiting philosophies as well as his thoughts on the transfer portal. So if you're itching for some Grizz football, go check that one out. Today we're going to focus on the prep sports, talk a little Cat Grizz hoops, and then also soon enough we'll have a Bobcats off-season football special as well. So lots to dive into today, but just don't think we forgot about all that recruiting stuff. Awesome stuff. Before we dive into all of our prep sports action and that Cat Grizz basketball talk I mentioned, reminder, today's episode is brought to you by Nomad, voted the Flathead's best manufacturer. Nomad is a longtime supporter of the local community and sports scene, celebrating 20 years of building great careers and mission-focused custom vehicles. Nomad, a Montana-based company making a global impact. Visit nomadgcs.com for more info. That's nomadgcs.com for more information. Alrighty, quick reminder, you can subscribe to the Daily Interlake e-edition to get all your local news right at your fingertips. Go check out thedailyinterlake.com for more information. All right, let's dive into the prep sports action. We're going to do something a little different this week. We're going to roll through some of our prep basketball scores. Then we'll get to our games of the week. Then we'll dive through some more scores just to kind of break things up. Tuesday in the prep basketball world, the boys, Big Fork took home a 75-19 win over Plains. And Tuesday for the girls, Polson beat Whitefish 51-34, and Big Fork won 69-8 over Plains. We also had Columbia Falls JV squaring off with Stillwater Christians varsity, and Columbia Falls JV won 58-56. On Thursday for the boys, Columbia Falls won 71-46 over Libby, and Whitefish took home a 55-34 win over Ronan. Thursday for the girls, Columbia Falls won 62-28 over Libby, and Ronan won 47-27 over Whitefish. Big Fork took home another one of those big wins we mentioned before with a 98-18 victory over Troy. All right, let's dive into those games of the week. A lot of prep sports action, so figure this is a good way to break it up a little bit more. So, first off, from Whitefish, game of the week here, Tuesday night, Mason Kelch scored 10 of his 16 points in the fourth quarter, and Carson Crack followed up his own miss with 5.2 seconds left to lift Whitefish over Polson 47-45 in boys basketball. Kelch hit two corner three-pointers for the Bulldogs, and they battled back from a 36-31 deficit heading into the fourth. They trailed by 10 points at halftime. Heck of a week for Kelch overall. We'll talk about a little bit more about him on the show later and some of his big week on the basketball court. Guy's a heck of a player. Had a chance to watch Whitefish earlier. He had some clutch shots when I saw him versus Columbia Falls. All right. Friday night was a special night for the Flathead Braves boys basketball team. This would probably be my game of the week, the one that stood out the most, and you'll see why very quick. So the Braves, big game. They picked up their first win of the season Friday night. Let's get to a recap from the Daily Interlake's own Fritz Neighbor, who was there in attendance. Flathead rallies past Sentinel for first win by Fritz Neighbor. It was a long time coming. The Flathead boys basketball team's 51-49 win over Missoula Sentinel on Friday. And if it wasn't the prettiest finish, it still felt amazing. It's been a while, said the Braves' Michael Manning, who hit a free throw with 2:18 left to put his team ahead 50-49. We went through all of our first half of the conference game, and we didn't get one. To get one now, it really felt good. That first win, nothing like it. We worked hard for it. I feel like we've been close a lot of times, and I think we lost by this team by 2 points earlier this year. They lost 40-38 in Missoula versus the same opponent. This time, Flathead closed it out, and without top rebounder Gabriel Sims, who injured an ankle in practice and didn't suit up. Usually he gets 8 or 10 a game, Manning said, the Braves' lone senior. It was really all of us pitching in together. Slade Burrington had 9 rebounds before fouling out. Lyric Ersland, who scored a game-high 19 points, snared 7 rebounds and also had 4 block shots. Josh Eagleton had 7 boards as well and 12 points. Flathead improved to 1-11 on the year and 1-7 in Western AA games. Here's a quote from Flathead coach Dirks John Rude. You know, I just thought it was a great game in terms of how tough our kids played. Josh Eagleton shot the ball really well. He distributed the ball for us. And one thing about the Braves I was really proud about tonight is we won the rebounding battle, and that is something we've struggled with all year, so hats off to the Braves tonight. After Manning found Burrington for a bucket and an early 2-0 lead, Sentinel shot in front 8-2 behind back-to-back threes from lefty guard Brady Hooper. Flathead stayed in range. Ersland threw down a follow dunk off an Eagleton miss to cut the gap to 8-7, but didn't get back in front until a 14-0 surge bridging the third and fourth quarters. Ersland hit a three-pointer to cut Sentinels' lead to 43-37 after 3. Eagleton sandwiched his third and fourth three-pointers around a Noah Cummings bomb, and the Braves were suddenly up 46-43. Ersland hit a free throw to cap off the run with 4 minutes left, making it 47-43. Sentinel responded with 3 threes from Rupert, 15 points total on the night, and Blake Taft to lead 49-48 with 3:25 left in the fourth, but the Spartans otherwise struggled to get shots off, committing 8 fourth-quarter turnovers. Flathead didn't exactly jump on the mistakes. Single free throws by Ersland, Manning, and Cummings with 14.4 seconds left capped the scoring. Eventually, Ersland sold a desperation pass to end the game, setting off a long overdue celebration. The Braves had lost 13 straight dating back to last season. To finally get to the edge and get over it felt really great, Manning said. I'm very happy right now. So that was one of our game of the week. That was a heck of a win for Flathead. Gotta feel good. Those kids have been competing all year. I've had a chance to watch them a couple times. They got some real talent on that team. Young team, just a matter of putting it together, and that's one of those wins that not going to forget about that one. Something to build on. Awesome stuff. So Flathead is also responsible for our last game of the week, this time with the Bravettes Friday night, who picked up an overtime win in Missoula. Flathead junior Kendi Moore scored a career-high 33 points, 6 of those in overtime, leading the Bravettes to a 58-52 Western AA win over Sentinel. Moore also grabbed 14 rebounds, was critical in helping the Bravettes avenge a 50-42 loss to the Spartans on January 6th. Also pitching were Avery Schoenard, who went 4 for 4 at the line in overtime, and Akila Kubi, who added 10 points. So those were your games of the week. Let's get to the rest of those prep basketball scores, brought to you by the Flathead's best manufacturer, Nomad GCS, and then we'll move in to some more prep action with the wrestling. All right. So, prep scores part 2, Friday. We had the boys. Cut Bank took home a 73-71 win over Whitefish in double overtime. Browning won 93-80 over Polson. Big Fork took home a 78-12 win over Troy, and Glacier beat Butte 70-52. For the girls Friday, Browning stayed undefeated, winning 43-34 over Polson. Cut Bank took home a 60-22 win over Whitefish, and Butte beat Glacier 49-35. As for Saturday, the Glacier boys picked up a 76-42 win over Missoula Sentinels Saturday, marking their third 70-point outing in the last 5 games, all wins. That includes a 72-50 thumping of Butte we just mentioned. Shout out to Fritz Neighbors for the stat on those ones. Butte beat Flathead 67-58 Saturday, and then for the girls, we had Flathead beating Butte 60-52. That was Flathead's 6th straight win. Sentinel took home a 41-31 win over Glacier, and Browning beat Libby 65-33 to win their 16th of the year and stay undefeated. So the Browning girls are absolutely rolling right now. Now, let's dive into that wrestling action, and then we'll get to our prep players of the week, as always. So starting with the Western A Divisional and Polson, Columbia Falls, the MatCats, they took home the Western A Divisional title Saturday with Sioux Falls wrestlers Tyler Gilfrey, Winslow Peters, Josiah Kilman, and Justin Windauer all winning their weight classes on the day. Windauer on the day moved to 44-0 on the season. You might hear that name again later in the show, just throwing it out there. Also over the weekend was a big day in the Montana sports kind of world, history, whatever you want to say, with the inaugural Western AA Girls Wrestling Divisional title Saturday in Butte at the Civic Center. And that day ended with the Flathead Bravettes making history and taking home the first ever Western AA Divisional title. Butte came in second on the day, and Glacier was third. The Bravettes had 4 individual champions, Raina Kohler, Bella Downing, Olivia Reinhardt, and Lucille Libby, while Glacier had 4 individual champions as well, with Brooke Eden, Kara Coles, Madison Frazier, and Leah Esser, all taking home titles for the Wolfpack. The all-class state tournament is February 10th and 11th in Billings. Flathead has won the past 2. All right, Western A Divisional, we mentioned that one. Big weekend for Windauer. Let's move it along now to the boys here. Let's see if I can find my notes. It's one of those days, but we'll get to that. Here we go. The Flathead Brave Brawlers took care of business at the Western AA Divisional in Butte. Brave Brawlers qualified 20 wrestlers for the state Western AA Divisional meet. That was their goal. They hit their goal. 20 wrestlers will be competing in state, and 5 brawlers are divisional champs, with Sawyer Troop, Noah Powhatan, Anders Thompson, Dane Lake, and Diesel Thompson all taking home those individual divisional crowns. Here's a quote from Flathead head coach Jeff Thompson. Flathead absolutely wrestled at a different level this weekend. We showed up and we went after the win in every match. This team is very special, putting 10 in the finals out of 13 weights and winning 5 of those. This is an outstanding performance and it sets us up very well for state next week. As for the Wolfpack, Glacier's Tegan Vasquez, who was aiming for his 4th straight state title, racked up 2 pins on the day and took home the divisional title for the pack. So, before we move along to our prep players of the week and some Cat Grizz talk, here's a word from our friends at Nomad. At Nomad, the key to our success has always been the amazing talent and experience of our team. Based on one of the most beautiful places on earth, our Kalispell, Montana headquarters is home to some of the most skilled engineers, integrators, software developers, welders, electricians, carpenters, mechanics, and professional staff in the market. Our team is dedicated to working collaboratively with our valued clients to ensure success in every mission. Join our team. Check out our careers page at nomadgcs.com/careers to view current job openings and submit an application. All right, shout out Nomad. A reminder, you can check out all those prep recaps on the dailyinterlake.com, or I'd suggest going and grabbing a Sunday edition of the Interlake from last week. Tons of prep sports action in there. Get you all caught up. So, let's wrap up our prep sports talk with our prep players of the week, brought to you by Hagadone Media Group Montana. The team in Montana is here to help you grow. Our skill team will assess your marketing goals and craft ROI-focused campaigns honed to meet your business needs. Our integrated marketing solutions will help your people find you wherever they are looking, whether it's Google, YouTube, apps, or your local newspaper. Contact Anton at 406-758-4410 for more information. That's 406-758-4410 for more information. All right, let's get to those prep players of the week. The first one, you could have seen this coming. I kind of hinted at it. Columbia Falls Wildcats senior wrestling star Justin Windauer. Like I said, he was the defending state champ at 138 pounds last year. Now he's 44-0 at 160 pounds and just picked up the divisional title. He had 3 pins on his way to that Western A title. 44-0 is one of those numbers that you just can't, it's hard to wrap your head around. That is just extremely difficult. Major props to Windauer. No doubt in my mind earned that prep player of the week nod. Next up, Whitefish boys basketball. Mason Kelch, he picked up the honors for his performance in 3 Bulldogs games last week. Tuesday, Kelch had 10 fourth quarter points to lead the Bulldogs over Polson 47-45. Then Kelch followed that up with an 18-point performance Thursday as the Bulldogs knocked off Ronan, and he capped off the week with a 24-point performance in a double overtime loss to Cupcake Friday. Yes, they got the loss, but Kelch scored 9 points in overtime on the night. So overall, the Bulldogs went 2-1 on the week, and Kelch was big in all 3 games, so definitely deserving of this prep player of the week nod. And last up, Flathead Braves hooper Lyric Ersland for his performance in the Braves' first win of the season Friday night over Sentinel. Ersland finished with a team-high 19 points. He had 7 rebounds and 4 blocks. Plus, he was huge down the stretch with multiple big buckets. He had a dunk early on, and he snagged the steal to cap the win. That sealed the deal at the very end. Sentinel had a desperation pass. Ersland gets the steal. Game over. Flathead gets the W. Ersland had his hand in that entire ball game and definitely earned this prep player of the week nod. So, those were your prep players of the week presented by Hagadone Media Group Montana. The team in Montana is here to help you grow. Our skill team will assess your marketing goals and craft ROI-focused campaigns honed to meet your business needs. Our integrated marketing solutions will help your people find you wherever they are looking, whether it's Google, YouTube, apps, or your local newspaper. Contact Anton at 406-758-4410 for more information. That's 406-758-4410 for more information. All right, y'all, this has been a fast-paced show. We kind of burned through this one, but like I said, got that Grizzlies off-season football special sitting on YouTube as well. Dropped that one Monday. Jam-packed week in Northwest Montana sports, so we split it up a little bit, and then we'll have that Bobcats show soon. But let's wrap this thing up with a little Cat Grizz basketball talk, and don't forget about that recruiting stuff and all that off-season football stuff, because lots to dive into there. I usually try not to get too high or too low on the off-season stuff, but lots of Grizz football action right now, so it was worth breaking down. That being said, let's get to the Big Sky Hoops. As it relates to the Cats, Grizz, and men first. The Grizzlies men are currently on a 3-game win streak with wins over Sac State, Northern Colorado, and Northern Arizona. The Grizz are currently 6-6 in conference play after the win streak, so that was much needed as they kind of gear up for the end of Big Sky Conference play and then the Big Sky Conference tournament in early March. So next up for the Grizz, they have road games versus Idaho State and Weber State Thursday and Friday. So As for the Bobcats, they are 10-2 in conference play and currently on a 5-game win streak that began when the Cats knocked off the Griz January 21st in Missoula. Both teams seem to be hitting their strides at the right time. The Bobcats are a little bit further along. They have found their midseason form a little bit quicker. I just don't think you count out this Griz team for making a run in the conference tournament and finishing the season strong because they have the talent. They had a lot of transfer pieces, and it seems like they're putting it together. It's really setting up for both the Bobcats and the Griz to have a little bit of a chance when it comes to that conference tournament and, making a March Madness run. Now, for the Lady Bobcats and the Lady Griz, they are currently sitting at 1-2 in the Big Sky Conference, with the Bobcats at 9-3 and the Griz at 8-4. The Lady Griz are on a 4-game win streak while the Bobcats had been rolling. They took a loss versus Northern Arizona Thursday night. They lost by 29, but bounced back with a 20-point win in Greeley over Northern Colorado on Saturday. So the Big Sky women, it seems like there's a good chance one of the two Montana schools could be taking home a conference crown, regular season, and possibly a tournament win, depending on how things shake out in the tourney. I'm excited to see that. I'm really excited for this Big Sky tournament coming up. I believe it's March 4th in Boise. So soon enough, we'll be talking postseason hoops action and seeing him maybe, two schools get into the conference. The March Madness. Can we get a men and a women team? I think last year the Bobcats both made it. So we'll see. Maybe the Griz get hot at the right time. The Lady Griz are rolling. And then both the Bobcats teams are first place right now or fighting for it if the men, I believe, are in second. Point being, awesome time to be a Montana basketball fan, gearing up for the conference tourney, the home stretch, and we still have Brawl the Wild weekend coming up one more time, and this one will be in Bozeman, so those teams will be going at it again, have the rivalry game and all that. So kind of a fast-paced show today. Burn through this one. That being said, so much sports to get to, and now, next week, we're going to have prep, postseason stuff really heating up in the local area. Like I said, we have the conference tourney coming soon for Big Sky, and we're going to have a Bobcats offseason football special in the works. So lots to look forward to right now in the Northwest Montana sports scene. Soon enough, we'll be talking about baseball and all kinds of stuff in a couple months. So it's really heating up. Awesome stuff. Before we wrap this show up, I do want to give a special thanks to Hagadone Media Group Montana for their support and remind everyone listening that this episode was brought to you by Nomad, voted the Flathead's best manufacturer. Nomad is a longtime supporter of the local community and sports scene, celebrating 20 years of building great careers and mission-focused custom vehicles. Nomad, a Montana-based company making a global impact. Nomad has worked with NASA and various branches of the United States military, so Nomad is a name you can trust with your manufacturing needs. For more info, visit nomadgcs.com. I repeat, nomadgcs.com. All right. Thanks again to the Flathead's best manufacturer, Nomad, and thanks again to Hagadone Media Group Montana. That'll do it for this week's show. Like I said, next week we'll be diving into that postseason prep sports a little bit more. Wrestling's really heating up. Basketball's about to tip off postseason play, and the Cat Griz basketball team seem to be peaking at the right time. So lots of fun stuff in Northwest Montana to get to. And like I said, keep an eye out for that Bobcats offseason football show. And if you're a Griz fan, go check out that Griz offseason football show with Fritz Neighbor right now on YouTube. All right, y'all. I'm Josh Dugan. I'm out, and that'll do it for this week's Sports Now. Have a good one.